Hello students and welcome in the online session of class 9th science chapter 3 atoms and molecules. This is the third video of this lesson. So let us see which topics will be covered in this class. So we'll learn about molecules, molecules of elements, molecules of compounds, electronegativity, molecular mass, ions and valency concept. So let's start first with the topic what is a molecule. So, a molecule is a group of two or more atoms which are held together by some attractive forces. Fine. So, this is the simplest definition that when two or more atoms combine together, they form a molecule, and these two or more atoms combine together by the help of some attractive forces. Okay. And such a attractive force which holds the atoms together is called as a chemical bond. Fine. So, what is a chemical bond now? A chemical bond is the attraction between the atoms due to which they combine together or they hold together. Okay. So, two things we have learned till now, that what's a molecule and what is a chemical bond. Okay. So, molecule is what? A group of two or more atoms is known as a molecule, and when two or more atoms combine together, they do so with the help of an attractive force, and that attractive force which binds the atoms together or which holds the atoms together at a place is called as a chemical bond. Okay, so chemical bond is the attractive force between the atoms due to which they come closer to each other, and when they come closer they form a molecule. So molecule is a group of two or more atoms. Fine. Now let us see one more definition for molecule. So a molecule is the smallest particle of an element or compound which can exist freely and which shows all the properties of that substance. Fine. So a molecule we can say is that smallest particle which can exist freely. Like, what is an atom? We have studied that an atom is the smallest particle of a substance. Fine. It may or may not exist freely. But this molecule is the smallest particle of an element or compound which can exist freely, which definitely exists freely, and it shows all the properties of that substance. Fine. So this is you can write this definition also, or you can write this definition also. Fine. Both are correct definitions. Which one you find easy to learn, you can choose it. Now, molecules can be of two types: molecules of an element and molecules of a compound. So let's see first the molecules of an element. This we have discussed earlier also. Now, molecule of an element means when two or more atoms of the same element combine together. Remember children, this is the important point in the definition. Okay, what is a molecule? We know that molecule is a group of two or more atoms, but those atoms are either of same element or different element. That makes the difference between the molecules. So when we talk about the molecules of an element, then these molecules are formed when two or more atoms combine together, and these atoms are of the same element. Fine. Then they are called as the molecules of an element. Now, when we say two or more atoms are combining together, so depending upon the number of atoms, means how many atoms are combining together, then on the basis of that, these molecules of an element are of different types. So first one is monoatomic molecules. Right, now mono means one. Okay, so monoatomic means one atom. So the molecules which consist of only one atom, and because it's a molecule, so they can exist freely. So such type of molecules which have only one atom present in them, they are called monoatomic. Now, when one atom is only present, that means it is unreactive, one atom and existing freely. So, we have already discussed that which are those atoms? These atoms are the noble gases. Fine, noble gases, why we call them as noble gases? Because they are unreactive. They do not react with any other element. So, such noble gases are helium. Okay, now He, when you write, it's a gas. Fine, it's a helium gas. Then neon. Ne is the symbol for neon, so it is also a gas, right? And they are the single atoms which exist freely, so they are called monoatomic molecules. Now let's move on to Diatomic molecules. Fine. Remember, we are doing molecules of an element, means these are the atoms of the same element which are combining together. Now, diatomic means two atoms. So, when two atoms of the same element combine together, they make diatomic molecules. For example, H2. Fine, you can see here one H, another H combined together with the help of a chemical bond. This bridge in between these two hydrogen atoms, which you can see, is nothing but the chemical bond. It is a way to show the chemical bond. There is no such, bridge or any line in between these. So, this is the attractive force which is binding these two hydrogen atoms together. Now you can see this first atom is also of hydrogen, another is also of hydrogen. So same element, two atoms of the same element are combining together. So it is called as a diatomic molecule. In the same way, another example is N2, nitrogen gas. Okay, H2 is hydrogen gas, N2 is nitrogen gas. So this is also an example of diatomic. Two atoms are present. Then third is a triatomic molecules. Tri means three. So when three atoms of the same element, remember same element, combine together, they form triatomic molecules. For example, O3. Okay, now O3 is what? O3 is the formula for ozone gas. Okay, O3 is the formula for ozone gas. So you can see here the picturization also. There are three atoms of oxygen combining together. Fine. Now, next one is tetraatomic molecules. Now, tetra means four. So, when four atoms of the same element combine together, they form tetraatomic molecules. For example, here is P4. Phosphorus 4. Four atoms of phosphorus, they combine together and they make a tetraatomic molecule. Then next is polyatomic. Poly means many. So when more than four molecules, fine, when more than four atoms of the same element combine together, they make polyatomic molecules. For example, graphite. Right. Now graphite is a form of carbon. So in this graphite, many carbon atoms combine together. Like diamond. Diamond is also a form of carbon. Many atoms of carbon combine together. Fullerene. Fullerene is also a form of carbon. So fullerene formula is C60. This is the structure for fullerene. So you can see here it is a football like structure shown here. So this is C60. Each corner is representing a carbon. So there are 60 carbon atoms present in this molecule. Then S8, sulfur 8 atoms combined together. So this is also an example of polyatomic molecule. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So we have studied molecules of an element where atoms of the same element are combining together, and we have studied monoatomic, diatomic, triatomic, tetraatomic, and if the atoms are more than four, then they are called polyatomic molecules. Now the next concept is atomicity. Okay, so it's very simple, that the number of molecules present in one molecule of the substance, means number of how many atoms are present. Okay, it should be atom here, so not number of molecules, it should be number of atoms present here, right? So number of atoms present in one molecule, that is called as the atomicity. Like in H2, how many atoms are present? 2. So what is the atomicity of H2 hydrogen gas? It's 2, right? If suppose P4, so what is the atomicity of this molecule? So it is 4. Like suppose S8 is the example, means 8 atoms are present here of sulfur. So what is the atomicity? 8. So the number of atoms which are present in one molecule of the substance is called its atomicity. Okay, number of atoms present in the molecule. Now, next one is molecules of a compound. So we have studied about molecules of an element. Now we are going with molecules of a compound. Now remember, in molecules of an element, atoms of the same element are combining together. But now in molecules of a compound, two or more atoms combine together, but they belong to different elements, right? Means the atoms which are combining, they are of different elements. Then it is known as a molecule of a compound. This is the main difference here. Molecule of an element means when the atoms of the same element are combining, like H are combining, O are combining. But when atoms of different elements are combining together, they make molecules of a compound, and they also exist freely. Okay, so now depending upon the number of atoms present in it, they are also of many types. So first one is diatomic molecule. Fine, means two atoms. Now two atoms are present, but they are of different elements, then they make diatomic molecules of a compound. So example here are HCl. Fine, now you can see one atom is of hydrogen and another one is of chlorine. So two different elements are combining together. So it's a diatomic molecule. Now you can see here another example, carbon monoxide, CO. So one atom of carbon, one atom of oxygen makes carbon monoxide. So this is also diatomic, two atoms of different elements. Okay, I hope this is clear. Then the next one is a triatomic, means three atoms. But these three atoms will not be of same element, they will be of different elements, right? So molecule containing three atoms of different elements, they are called triatomic. Now you can see an example here, H2O. So you can see here two atoms of hydrogen and one of oxygen. So total it becomes three, right? But you can see different elements are there. One is hydrogen and one is oxygen, right? Two atoms of hydrogen and one of oxygen makes three atoms of the molecule. Okay, so this is a triatomic molecule. Another example you can take of CO2. Okay, so one of carbon, two of oxygen, total it becomes three. Okay, but different elements. Okay, one carbon and two oxygen atoms are combining. Then tetraatomic means again four atoms but of different elements. So here you can see H2O2. This is hydrogen peroxide. Here you can see it, H2O2, right? So two oxygen atoms and two hydrogen atoms combined together. So total it becomes four. That's why it is tetraatomic. Okay, so different elements, one hydrogen, one oxygen. Fine. Then another example is ammonia gas, NH3. Here also you can see nitrogen and hydrogen, different elements are present. So one atom of nitrogen and three atoms you can see here of hydrogen, they are combining together. So they make a tetraatomic molecule of the compound. Remember, because different elements are there, so molecule of a compound. Okay, I hope this difference is very clear to you all, that molecules of an element contains atoms of the same element, and molecules of a compound contain the atoms of different elements. Fine. Now let's move on to the next slide and see another topic, that is electronegativity. Fine. Now you all know that atom is the smallest particle, and in the atom there is, in the center there is a nucleus in which protons and neutrons are present, and in outside the nucleus there are orbits or shells in which the electrons move. Fine. And these electrons have negative charge on them, negative charge, remember. Fine. So now let's see what is electronegativity. Now tendency of an atom in a molecule to attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself is called its electronegativity, right? Like suppose I give you one example of water. So here you can see one oxygen atom is present and two hydrogen atoms are present. Fine. But the atom which can share, which can attract the shared pairs of electrons towards itself, is more electronegative. Fine. Like see, this oxygen is more electronegative, means this oxygen is capable of attracting the electrons of the hydrogen towards it. This arrow shows that this oxygen is attracting the electrons of the hydrogen towards itself. Okay, and this property of attracting the electrons of the another element towards itself is called electronegativity. Okay, so now out of hydrogen and oxygen, oxygen is attracting the electrons of hydrogen towards itself. That means oxygen is more electronegative and hydrogen is less electronegative. Okay, so the atom which attracts the shared pair of electron is more electronegative, and the one which attracts very less is less electronegative. So out of hydrogen and oxygen, oxygen is more electronegative because this oxygen is attracting the electrons of the hydrogen towards itself. Hydrogen is also an atom, hydrogen also has electron, this hydrogen also has electron, but this oxygen is attracting those electrons towards itself. So oxygen is more electronegative. Fine. Now this is the concept of electronegativity. That means the property or the tendency of an atom to attract the shared pair of electrons. Now this oxygen and hydrogen, they are sharing their electrons, so the shared electrons are more attracted towards oxygen, and this property is called electronegativity. And the atom which will attract more is called more electronegative, and the one which does not attract the electrons or which attracts very less, then it is called a less electronegative. And remember, oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen. Okay. Now one more thing I have to tell you, that AMU we have learned in the last video, atomic mass unit. Okay, this is the unit to measure the atomic mass, is nowadays called as unified mass, right? Instead of writing AMU, nowadays a new term is used in place of AMU, and that is unified mass. Same, it is AMU is now called as unified mass, and it is shown with the symbol small u. Okay, now the next concept is molecular mass, means mass of the molecule. How to find the mass of the molecule? The mass of the atom, okay, that we have to learn. That is, we cannot measure it, so that we have to learn from the tables. But we can find the mass of the molecules. If we know the mass of the atoms, we can find the mass of the molecule. Fine. So molecular mass of a substance is the average relative mass of its molecules. Okay, if we want to know the molecular mass of a substance, then we have to add the mass of all its molecules together. Fine. So let's see how we have to calculate the molecular mass, or you can say, when we find the molecular mass of a molecule, we have to add the atomic masses of its atom. Here we have written substance, so you can change the definition, that molecular mass of a molecule is the sum of the atomic mass of its atoms. Okay, so when you'll solve the example, you'll come to know what is molecular mass exactly. So let's find the molecular mass of hydrogen. Okay, let's find the molecular mass of hydrogen. So when we find the atomic mass, or the molecular mass, sorry, of hydrogen, now you can see there are two atoms of hydrogen. Fine. There are two atoms of hydrogen here. So what we will do, we will multiply 2 by atomic mass of hydrogen. Okay, two atoms of hydrogen. So 2 will be multiplied by atomic mass of hydrogen. Okay, so atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. So when you multiply 2 with 1, it comes to 2. Okay, and the unit of molecular mass is also the unified mass U. So the molecular mass of hydrogen gas is 2U. Okay, 2 AMU you can write, or 2U you can write. U is the unit for measuring the molecular mass. Okay, so this is the way how we find the molecular mass. Let's solve some more examples of it. Now another example is O3. Okay, so the atom here is of oxygen, but there are 3 atoms in total. So atomic mass of the oxygen we must know, and that has to be multiplied by 3, because there are 3 atoms, right? So 3 into atomic mass of oxygen. So it becomes 3 into 16. Now 16 is the atomic mass of one oxygen atom. So 3 multiplied by 16, it comes to 48. So 48 is the molecular mass of O3 molecule. Okay. Then next is water. Now you see there are 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. Fine. So what we will do now, we have to take the atomic mass of hydrogen and multiply it with 2, because there are 2 atoms total. So 2 multiplied by atomic mass of hydrogen, right? Then you will give an addition sign in between, because we are adding 2 atoms of hydrogen plus 1 atom of oxygen, like this. So there will be plus sign in between. Then there is 1 atom of oxygen. So 1 will be multiplied with atomic mass of oxygen. Okay. So 2 into what is the atomic mass of hydrogen? It is 1. So 2 multiplied by 1. And then here 1 multiplied by atomic mass of oxygen. So atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So 1 into 16. So 2 plus 16, it comes to 18. Okay. So 18 is the molecular mass of water. Okay, so what could be the definition for molecular mass now? Molecular mass is the sum total of the atomic masses of the atoms present in the molecule. When we add the atomic mass of each atom, then it gives the molecular mass of the molecule. Okay, now let us see the another example. It is CO2, carbon dioxide. So one carbon and two oxygen are present. So atomic mass of carbon must be known to us, and it has to be multiplied by 1, because there is one carbon atom. Then atomic mass of oxygen has to be multiplied by 2, because 2 atoms of oxygen, and these two has to be added now. Okay, atomic mass of carbon plus atomic mass of 2 atoms of oxygen. So 1 into 12 for carbon, atomic mass of carbon is 12, and atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So we put the values here, and when you calculate it total, it comes to 44. Okay, unified mass. So 44 is the molecular mass of carbon dioxide. Now let's do some more examples. Another is H2SO4. So it's a big molecule now. 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of sulfur, and 4 atoms of oxygen. So same method you have to apply. Now 2 has to be multiplied by atomic mass of hydrogen because 2 hydrogen are there. Then plus sign, then 1 multiplied by atomic mass of sulfur because 1 sulfur atom. So it will be multiplied by 1. Then 4 atoms, atomic mass of oxygen multiplied by 4 because 4 atoms of oxygen, and in between plus sign. So put the values. Atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, atomic mass of sulfur is 32, atomic mass of oxygen is 16. These you have to learn. Atomic masses of the atoms you have to learn. Then when you solve it, the answer comes to 98. Fine. See, a multiplication has to be done before and addition you will do at last. So total molecular mass of H2SO4 is 98. Then another example is Al2SO4 thrice. See, this thrice is outside the bracket. Okay, that means what? That this 3 is for the whole SO4 molecule. Okay, so now see, aluminium is 2, so 2 multiplied by atomic mass of aluminium. This is very clear. Now addition, right? What we are adding now. So this 3 is for, over the whole bracket, so we'll take 3 here outside the bracket, and inside we will solve first. So 1 atom of sulfur, so 1 multiplied by atomic mass of sulfur, then plus 4 atoms of oxygen inside, so 4 into atomic mass of oxygen, right? And this is covered in the whole brackets, and 3 is written outside because this 3 is for the whole bracket here. Now let us put the values. So atomic mass of aluminium is 27, atomic mass of sulfur is 32, atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So first you will solve this bracket. Okay, 16 into 4, 64, 32 plus 64 comes to 96. And then you will finally multiply with 3 here. So it comes to 288. So 54, 27 into 2 is 54. So 54 plus 288, it comes to 342 atomic mass unit or unified mass. Okay, so this is aluminium sulfate and its molecular mass is 342. I hope this is clear to all. Fine. Now next is ions. What are ions? Okay, so an atom or group of atoms which carries positive or negative charge is called an ion. Means any atom, any charged atom, if any atom has any charge, whether positive charge or negative charge on it, then it is called an ion. It is not called an atom at that time. If it has charge present on it, whether positive charge or negative charge, then it is called an ion. And how the ion are formed, see in this diagram here, there is a neutral atom, right? So neutral atom, if the atom loses electrons, if it gives its electron to somebody else, so after giving it gets a positive charge. Okay, and when it gets a positive charge, it is called a cation. Okay, so ions having positive charge, they are called cations. And how they will get positive charge? They will get positive charge when they donate their electrons. Okay, don't think that plus sign means addition of electrons. No, it's reverse. Why it is reverse? I'll tell you that. See, in the nucleus of the atom, there are protons, right? Protons are positively charged, and outside the nucleus, electrons are moving, and these electrons are negative in charge, right? And in a neutral atom, number of proton is equal to number of electrons, right? So suppose the atom is giving its electron to some other atom, so if it gives the electrons, that means it is donating negative charge. So negative charge will reduce, but this positive will be more now. If suppose in the atom there are 5 protons and 5 electrons, right? 5 protons are present and 5 electrons are present. Now if it donates 1 electron, okay, so if it donates means now electrons will be 4 and protons will be 5 only, and charge on the protons is plus, so plus charge will increase, so that's why plus charge comes on the cations, right? So here you can see sodium plus means it has given 1 electron, 1 plus means 1 electron is given, 2 plus means it has donated 2 electrons to some other atom. So from the neutral atom, if there is loss of electrons, then the ion will get a positive charge and it will called a cation. And if the atom gains some electrons, if it is gaining some electron, taking some electrons, then it is called as an anion and it gets a negative charge after gaining the electrons, because now extra electrons will come inside. Come inside means negative charge will increase, right? So it is called then anion. So anion having negative charge is called an anion. Okay, positively charged atoms are called cations and negatively charged are called anions. Both are formed from the neutral atom only. If the atom loses electrons, it gets positive charge and it is called a cation. If the atom is gaining electrons, then it will get negatively charged and it is called an anion. Okay, so examples are given here. So oxygen has -2 sign. -2 means it has gained 2 electrons. It has taken 2 electrons. Okay. Now here also in the table you can see some of the examples. You can see cations example here. Lithium plus means lithium has donated 1 electron. Sodium plus 1 means 1 electron donated, right? Potassium plus 1. Calcium plus 2 means 2 electrons donated. And some examples of fluorine. F minus, so this is a anion, negative charge. -1 means gain 1 electron. Cl -1 means it has also taken 1 electron, right? Here you can see SO4 2 minus. 2 minus means 2 electrons are taken inside, right? Now see, ions can also, if the ion has a single atom, like see lithium single atom, sodium single atom, potassium single atom, so they are called monoatomic ions, one atom present in it. And if the ion has a group of atoms, right, group of atoms, like here you can see it is NH4. So NH4 is not a single atom, it's nitrogen, hydrogen, so two different elements, atoms of elements are present here, so it is a polyatomic ion. Okay, if a single atom is present, then it is monoatomic. If a group of atoms is present, then it is polyatomic ion, right? And the compounds which have cations and anions present in them, they are called ionic compounds. Ionic compounds means the compounds which have ions present in them, they are called ionic compounds. Like sodium chloride, NaCl, the common salt which we eat daily at home, NaCl is the formula. So you see sodium has plus charge, +1, and chlorine has -1 charge. So this is an ionic compound because this compound has cation also and anion also present in it. Positively charged ion also present, negatively charged ion also present. So it is an ionic compound. Okay. Now the next concept is valency. Okay, so valency of an element is defined as the combining capacity of the element. Okay, combining capacity means that atom is combining with how many other atoms. That is called the valency of the element. Okay, so valency means what? The combining capacity means the atom is combining with how many more such atoms, then it is called the valency. Or more good definition for it is that valency is the number of electrons gained, lost, or shared by an atom of the element. Means the atom is gaining how many electrons. If it is losing, then how many electrons it is losing. If it is sharing some electrons with other, then how many electrons it has shared. That number is called the valency of the atom. Okay, now let us see how to find the valency of an atom. See, okay, so atom have electrons moving in orbits around the nucleus. Just I have told you that in the center of the atom there is a nucleus in which positively charged atom particles are present, which are called protons, and outside the nucleus some negatively charged particles are moving, which are called electrons. Okay, so these electrons are present in orbits or shells, right? Now you can see here some orbits. This is blue colored, is the nucleus, and you can see some orbits, round structures around this nucleus. They are called the orbits or the shells. And you can see these red color dots. These are the electrons. So these electrons are present in the shells or the orbits. Now, see, the first shell after the nucleus is called the first shell. Then after it, second shell. And if one more is there, then it will be third shell, then fourth shell, like this. Now, each orbit or shell has the capacity to hold the electrons, right? Like in the first shell, only 2 electrons can be filled. First shell has only 2 electrons. Not more electrons cannot be accommodated in this shell. So capacity of the first shell is 2. Then capacity of the second shell is 8. Then capacity of the third shell is also 8. And capacity of the fourth shell is 18. So this much is included in your syllabus. So you have to remember 2, 8, 8 and 18. These are the capacities of the shells present surrounding the nucleus. Means in the first shell only 2 electrons can be fit. In the second shell only 8 electrons can be fit. In the third shell only 8 electrons can be fit. And in the fourth shell 18 electrons can be filled. Okay, now what is the tendency of each atom? Every atom want to complete its orbit. Every atom wants that my orbits should be completed. Like in my first orbit, 2 electrons should be there. In my second orbit, 8 electrons should be there, like this. So every atom tries to complete its orbit or its shells. So for this, what they will do, they will either gain the extra electrons or they will lose some of the electrons, or they can share the electrons also. Okay, so how many electrons they are gaining, how many electrons they are losing, or how many electrons they are sharing, that is nothing but called as the valency. Fine. So this also you must remember that metals always have the tendency to lose electrons. Metals never gain electrons. Metals always lose electrons, and when an atom lose electrons, it gains positive charge. So metals have always positive charge, and non-metals have the tendency to gain the electrons. Okay, they gain electrons. So they are always having negative charge. So let's find the valency of some of the molecules so that it will be clear to you. Now let us take the atom of sodium. Okay, but before finding valency, you must know the atomic number. Okay, in your textbook also, I think atomic number of some of the elements are given. So like I will also tell you that which elements you must know the atomic number. So sodium has the atomic number of electron. Atomic number means the number of electrons or the protons present in the atom. How many electrons are present in the atom, that is the atomic number. So in sodium total 11 electrons are there. Now let us fill these electrons in the shell. Okay, so filling of the electrons in the shells is called electronic configuration. How the electrons are filled in the shells, that is called the electronic configuration. So let's write the electronic configuration for sodium, right? So now we know that there are total 11 electrons. So you know the capacities, right? 2, 8, 8 and 18. You have to remember this: 2, 8, 8 and 18. Means first shell can have only 2 electrons, second 8, third 8 and fourth one 18, right? Now see, so 11 electrons you have to distribute. So in the first shell only 2 can come, right? In the second shell only 8 can come. So 2 plus 8, how many? 10 are filled. Now out of 11, 10 are filled, so only 1 is left. So that 1 electron will go in the third shell, and you will write putting commas in between. So the electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 1, right? 2, 8 and 1. For 11 electrons, we have distributed them in the shells according to the capacities of the shells. Now remember that I have told you that each atom wants to complete its orbit. Now you can see this third shell is incomplete because the capacity of the third shell is 8. Okay, now what the sodium will do, sodium will try to make this shell complete, and for this sodium has two options. Okay, to make this number 8, either sodium has to add 7 electrons in it, so 1 plus 7 will become 8, right? And second option is that it will lose one electron. So when it loses one electron, then what will happen, the electronic configuration will become 2 and 8. So it will donate one electron, and the electronic configuration will become 2 and 8. So now you can see that this third shell is deleted, and only two shells are there, and both are complete now. So sodium has two options, either to take 7 or to lose one electron. So but see, taking 7 electrons inside needs more energy. Okay, so sodium will not lose its energy, so it will, what it will do, it will give one electron to somebody else, and it will become stable. So one electron it can lose easily. Okay, so what is the definition of valency? The number of electrons either gained, lost or shared. So when sodium loses one electron, so valency of sodium is +1. Why plus sign is used? Because it is donating. It is donating one electron. So +1 is the valency of sodium. Okay, now let's take another example. Oxygen. Oxygen has the charge of -2. Okay, so it clearly shows that its valency is 2 because it is gaining 2 electrons. Minus sign means gaining 2 electrons. So oxygen has an atomic number of 8, means 8 electrons are present in oxygen. So how to write now electronic configuration, how to fill the electrons in the shells? So first shell can have only 2 electrons, so out of 8 2 have gone. Now how much remaining? 6. So 6 electrons will go in the second shell, but you know that the capacity of the second shell is also 8. So to make this shell complete, now oxygen has also two choices: either to gain 2 electrons, so 6 plus 2 will become 8, or to lose these 6, to give these 6. Okay, so giving 6 is require more energy, and taking 2 inside, 2 electrons, less number of electrons, so that requires less energy. So oxygen takes 2 electrons. That is why valency of oxygen is -2. 2 electrons it is taking. Minus sign means it is gaining electron, taking electrons. So valency of oxygen is -2. Remember, sign is very important. Okay, you must know whether it has gained or it has given the electrons. Okay, so -2 is the valency of oxygen. Okay, so you can simply also write that valency of oxygen is 2, but you must know that whether 2 electrons are taken or given. So we are giving the sign also here, right? So this is how the valency is fine. So we have come to the end of the session. So today we have learned about molecules, molecules of elements, molecules of compounds, and what is electronegativity. Attraction of the shared electrons towards itself is electronegativity. So some atoms are more electronegative, some are less electronegative. Then we calculated the molecular mass of some of the molecules. Then we learn about what are ions. Charged atoms are called ions, and then valency. Okay, so the number of electrons gained, lost, or shared by an atom is called its valency. So this is what about the video session today. So one more video session will be arranged for this lesson, as little much topic is left. Till then, all of you just read the lesson from your textbook and stay home and stay safe.